we on? We're on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh wow. Hey everybody. I got my act together. I got my ducks in a row. No promises. Leslie Plazic, Zazoo Plazz, here for my April 9th, 2023 Easter Sunday report. It's a beautiful night. There's all kinds of stars. It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. Plane just went by. We've got some flowing water over here. Hear that? So it'll be nice for our report. And I got my phone cleared off. I got it charged up to the hilt. Nothing is going to go wrong. Okay, I'm going to just put that right out there. This is comedy, you remember. Okay. I took a week off, but I have a good excuse. Several good excuses. They're not really excuses, but... So, maybe some of you can relate. I lay it all out here. I bear witness to my life. I bear witness. This is... Okay, so... People might not understand what I'm doing out here. You know, I go out there, I talk to people in the real world. And they say, oh, you're going to write another book? I'm like, yeah, you know, it's in the works, but, you know, I've also got this YouTube channel, and they look at me. You know, kind of like the dog looks at you when you're doing something, and, you know, you're talking to the dog, or you know, yeah, the dog is just kind of human. I don't understand you. It's kind of like that. People, you know, is it that far-fetched to think that a writer can also speak? Or a speaker can also write? Actors, they come out with all their, you know, maybe they don't really write their books. They have people write their books. But I'm a writer, and I can speak. So, you know, I'm going to. You know, I'll get to it. All right, because today, every day is a new chance to speak your truth, to do the thing that you came here to do. And, you know, do you need any reminder that life is precious? The past week of my life has proved that more than, you know, and as I go along, I see more and more reason to continue to do what I'm doing. Sometimes you got to take a week off to realize, you know, I really miss doing my Zazoo report. And there's the plane. And I come to the realization that, you know, I do it because I enjoy it. Even if nobody understands why I do these videos, or, you know, they don't get it. They think, you know, oh, you're supposed to be a writer. That's what you know, just write your books and shut up. I can't do that. Because, you know, I have 3 planets in my 3rd house, 3 personal planets in my 3rd house of communication. Anybody who knows astrology knows I have to speak. I have to. And when I come out here, I'm speaking from the heart. Because for me, if I were to, you know, come out here and just, you know, if you see me at the supermarket, or you see me at a, you know, funeral or something, I'm in, you know, I'm in my public persona. I'm me. I'm probably like when I used to have these business jobs. I'd go and I'd speak from my brain. And it didn't always come out in the way that people could really understand me, you know? And I'd be so frustrated. And then I realized I looked at my human design chart, which is, you know, that stuff's free out there. It's kind of like astrology, but it's all this other stuff. It's science. It's, you know, I Ching and, you know, the stars and everything, whatever. But it shows that I don't have anything going from my head to my throat, which means, you know, I didn't come here to be like a, you know, spouting facts. I came here to speak from my heart, to speak from my, you know, from my gut. So when I come out here, that's that's my persona, my Zazoo Plazz persona. That's how I write my books. I write my books from that heart-centered place, right? The place where Jesus wanted us to speak from, where the light comes through us and shines through us, right? So I have a lot to say about that, but I only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to give you the short form. Now, I am about Gen X, and I am a Gen Xer, right? I was the first year of Gen X, 1965. But that's not all that I'm about, but it is all that I'm about. I'm speaking for myself, but I speak also, for my generation's, pain, whatever, our pop culture, our pains, our, the little fun and funny things that we've forgotten. I remember those things. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about those things. Those songs pop in my head when I'm standing in front of the refrigerator. So, so those guys and ladies out there doing, I'm on there with you. I love that they're doing that because it helps me with my work, right? We're not competing. We're all in this together. The more of us we can, get out there speaking. And this is my funny little way of doing it. I go back, I have a spring in my step. Like spring, because I'm not just about Gen X, but I am all about Gen X. Because those of us born in the 60s, we have a mission, right? We're here to show you, remind you about the natural world, remind you of the simple things, heal, bring us back from the last 100 years of materialism that has kept us from being receptacles of divine wisdom. Okay, there's my spiel. Shut up and get to the humor. All right, so first it'll all come around. As usual, I'm a little rusty because I took a week off. My mother-in-law, God rest her soul, Irene, she passed away March 26th, which is about 2 weeks ago. So, my husband's been very busy. He's been over her house cleaning up her, all her things, cleaning the house. He's probably going to yank down the, the wallpaper, the gold and brown wallpaper with the little teacups that's been up there since 1975. It's still up there. So he's like, he gets the pleasure of taking down the flowered wallpaper in her bedroom that was her hospice room when she was sick. That's where his office is now. He's moving his office into his mother's sick room. And I said, look, I got a sage stick. He's like, what the hell is that? This is witchcraft? I said, no. And my son, Zach, he's the forestry major up in Yukon. He says, yeah, Dad, he said, it's just kind of like, it's like healthy Lysol, He's like, it's natural. It's just like, you get rid of the heebie-jeebies, you wave it, you light it, and you wave it around, and it cleanses the air, it cleanses, okay, so those of you who are, into reading the Bible, clear out the old yeast and use the fresh yeast to rise the dough, right? Because, on Passover they used to eat the unleavened bread. Unleavened is that flat, it's like flat bread, right? It's like when you get a pizza. You get the healthy kind that's just, it's just like eating, those, what do we used to have? I used to eat those little flat crackers that had all the seeds on them, and you're like, and then they get stuck in your teeth. I forget what they were called, but like, there was a time when I used to eat those things, put them in my lunch with a salad or something. It's like that, But Jesus rising, it's a metaphor, right? The rising, that you put a little bit of yeast in it, and the bread rises, right? So it's my mother-in-law. All right. So every time she'd see the kids, she used to buy this bread that comes frozen, and then you bake it, and it would get all puffy, you know. And if you threw, you could throw that thing at somebody, you could sit on it, and it would pop back up. My husband knows what I'm talking about. This like squishy bread. My mother never bought that bread for me. I never even had Wonder Bread. She said when she was a little girl, my mother, she used to go to her grandparents. They had a general store, and she used to sit on the ice cream cabinet while the guy delivered the Wonder Bread. And he used to say that she looked like the Wonder Girl or whatever, the Wonder Bread girl, because she had, curly hair, and she kind of like me, kind of mischievous. So they used to eat that. But growing up, I had the healthy stuff. I mean, I had bran muffins. My mother was a before there was, like nutritionists and everybody telling you what to eat. I had brewer's yeast. I had, she used to sprinkle wheat germ on my Cheerios or my cornflakes. She didn't buy me I didn't have those cereal in front of the TV and the Saturday morning cartoon. I had like, shredded wheat with like bran and, crap. I was eating food that 80-year-olds eat when I was 8. Bananas, sliced bananas, and I'd have a piece of whole wheat toast with peanut butter and, honey and stuff. And I'd go off to school, I'd be bigger. I feel like, I had my carrot sticks. All the other kids, my friends would be like, they go off to recess, and I'd still be sitting there trying to finish my lunch, trying to eating my carrot sticks and my apple. By the time I got out to the playground, everybody was going in, right? The kids who had the Twinkies and the peanut butter and jelly with fluff, they ate their lunch in 2 minutes and they were out there. It took me half an hour to frickin', eat my lunch. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeast, yeah. All right, so we know. So that the Bible story is today, Jesus, they put him in the tomb, and the apostles, they go running out there, and he wasn't there. So they've got this story, right? Where did they put Jesus? He's gone. And then they would go and tell they'd write their story, and they were telling people, right? Tell your friends, look, this thing happened to me. This friend I had, they killed him, and then he's gone. All right? So it's making them a little uncomfortable. But Jesus kind of, you can't keep him down. He's good. All right? So, but he wanted to set an example. That's the whole reason he came, is to show people how to be resilient, how to become light, how to not have this world, this heaviness of this world weigh you down. And that was his mission, and he accomplished it. Because he didn't get weighed down with all the things that we get weighed down with, right? He was laser focused. And so today, if there's something you want to accomplish, you have to be laser focused about it. You can't get, you have to dance around that stuff. The people who would tear you down and, hang you up, that was all part of the thing. He wanted to be visible, right? He didn't want us to, go around like, all sad and saying, oh, I'm a, he didn't want us to wallow in this, language of death and sin. He wanted us to rejoice in what we came here to do and do our thing, right? He wanted us to rise like the doe, all of us. So there's that. This is my interpretation. This is just my interpretation. So take it with a grain of salt. It's a theory. You don't like it? Yeah, I'm going to start talking about something else now. It's not my intention to convert anybody, force anybody, do anything. I'm just out here spouting off, because I can. Anyway, so then we had, so my mother-in-law passed away, and we had her wake, and she got to wear her outfit that she picked out, but my husband put the wrong lipstick on her. And, I saw her lying there, and I said, wow, I've never seen her in lipstick that pale before. Because she would always wear vivid pink. And I wish they would have asked me, because I would have, I said, that's not her shade. Her shade is like fuchsia. It was her shade, and she looked good in it. And, so she wouldn't have liked that. But then, the boys, they had one of her big bags, and they put all her snacks and all her photos and things that she would need for a trip. Anybody who traveled with my mother-in-law knew, she'd be in the back seat or whatever. She'd have her big bag. She could be marooned on on some, tropical island, and she'd be fine because she'd have her whole life in that big bag. So her direction was that she wanted to be buried with one of her bags. So she got that. They put it in there. They tucked it in, just barely fit. And she's got all her stuff in there that she's going to need. Her lipstick, she can put more on when she gets where she's going. But, my mother didn't have that sin. My mother wanted, they were quick. There were four of us, four or five of us, and she wanted the little box. There was a little white box with angels on it and pictures of her, and that was it. Just the little box. And that was my mother, clean, didn't want anybody looking at her. But my mother-in-law, had the traditional, the Catholic Mass and the pallbearers, so it was lovely. It was beautiful to remember her and send her off. We had a nice lunch after. The relatives came. My dad came. There was scrod and vanilla ice cream with fudge sauce and whipped cream on top. No cherry. I got gypped. There's usually, if you give people that, you got to put the cherries on top, the maraschino cherries, right? I'm gonna complain. Anyway, so after that, then my son was home, and we watched the UConn game. Yay! UConn won the University of Connecticut, where my son goes and where I went. They won the big basketball championship. He stayed home. He's like, Mom, it's gonna be crazy on campus tonight. I'm gonna stay home. So he stayed home because he didn't want his new car, his new Miata, his new 1996 Miata. Didn't want to get it trashed. It's probably smart. And he went back the next day. He's like, yeah, there was like 40 light poles, knocked over or whatever. Kids, they're still doing the same things. Yeah, we were thinking about the kids today on Easter and how the Easter Bunny used to put out the trail of little, Hershey chocolate eggs down to the baskets. And, it was talking about the egg hunts, remembering how we'd take them to the egg hunts, and good memories, it just, oh no, are you kidding me? So anyway, why is it giving me this message? My battery is charged. Anyway, so I'll make it short. So anyway, song for this week. It's Unbelievable. That one. I gotta remember to bring my battery pack next time. That's what I need. EMF. All right. Yeah. Number 1 in the U.S. 1990 came out. I was in grad school. This guy. Okay. So he wrote the song with his friends. He dropped out of fine art school. British guy. He thought he was gonna. His mother thought that he ruined his life because he dropped out of college, but he joined a band and they made that song. And he made a lot of money, but he said, he thought he'd live on the royalties, but such is the way things go. He's teaching high school, but the lyrics are unbelievable. To unbelievable. They say I don't talk enough, but when I do, I'm a fool. Keep asking questions, not listening to my answers, right? Does that sound familiar? Yes, it does. The things you say. Now, I thought the lyrics were, let me just tell you right. I thought it said, the things you say, your albatross just gives you away. You know, the albatross. Those big birds, they have the longest wingspan of any bird, right? The albatross. And yet, you think of an albatross around your neck, right? Something that's holding you down. I thought it said, a shoe through. A shoe, like throw a shoe. I leave you. A shoe through. I'm leaving you. We're so through. We're so through. I'm leaving you. Saw a shoe through. A shoe was thrown. A shoe threw a shoe at you. Albatross just gives you away. Anyway, but you know what? Yeah, same with Jesus, right? You say, people ask him questions. He gave them answers. But, then they kill him because they don't like his answers. They say you say I'm a fool, right? They cast lots for his clothes. They treated him like, very unkindly. And yet, this is somebody who was healing people, who was out there trying to help people, right? And they still, but that was meant to be. Because people don't always like to hear what radical people have to say. So there's that. And people are still using Jesus' words, They're not taking his example. They take his words to advance their own causes, right? Instead of really meditating on what his words meant, just in a very simple way, right? They use them, and this is the way of humanity, to, make boss other people around and, be an albatross on someone else's neck, right? It's unbelievable. If they, if you have it's a test of faith. If you have those who weren't there, they had trouble believing that this happened to Jesus. But, but they say, blessed are those who believe and had not seen, right? Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. You have to say, well, the question is for the week, where is your lack of faith holding you back like an albatross around your neck? Take the albatross around your neck and take its example and fly. Spread those wings, those long, big wings, right? If your wings all wrapped up like this, it's going to choke you. But I don't know if any of this makes sense. But, I hope it makes you laugh at the very least, which is healing, right? Because we know laughter is healing, and so is nostalgia. It's comforting. Even hearing these Bible stories, however you hear them, and Easter eggs, and I'm going to make salmon pie. And I didn't have to make them for Good Friday. I'm going to make them the week after Good Friday. All right, so it's shutting me off. Next week I'm going to bring out a battery pack here. So that's it for the week. Until next week, Zazoo Plazz, signing out. Take care. Have a great week. Fly like the albatross. Bye-bye.